The time is precisely 1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Chandima Virakon. Headlines. Investigations are being conducted into the damage done to oceanic life by the fire of Express Pearl vessel. There is a risk of experiencing acid rain. Fishing activities in the areas affected by the fire has been suspended. Health Ministry says 2,377 new COVID-19 cases were reported so far yesterday. The President advises the relevant authorities to provide organic fertilizer needed for the Maha season. Australia's Victoria state enters fourth lockdown to curb outbreak. Local stories in detail. The Navy says that at present the flames of the fire that broke out in the Express Pearl vessel cannot be seen. The Navy also said that only a thick smoke is spreading. Debris from the Express Pearl vessel that was burning in the sea area of the Colombo port has been washed ashore from Preetipura to Negombo coastline. The authority stated that the debris from the distressed vessel is extending to a distance of 9 kilometers from Preetipura Vattala to the Negombo coast. Police investigations are being conducted into the persons who have collected the debris and materials. Police media spokesperson DIG Ajit Rohana stated that 8 individuals who collected items washed ashore from the damaged containers of the burning Express Pearl vessel have been arrested. Police have also seized a small lorry which had been brought down to transport the collected items. The chairman of the Marine Environment Protection Authority at law, Darshani Lahandapura, said that there is a risk of experiencing acid rains. The Nara Institute has also commenced investigation into the oceanic life. The fish samples will also be investigated. The coastal belt, which was polluted, is now being cleared. The cleaning activities will be carried out by the Navy and the Marine Environment Protection Authority with the support of several other institutions. Navy spokesman Captain Indika De Silva said that more than 200 personnel have been deployed for clearance activities from Dikkovita to Chilau coastal areas. Chairman of the Ports Authority, Major General Dayarat Nayaka, says that the fire of the vessel will not affect the activities of the port. The activities of the ports will be carried out as usual. The investigation on the vessel is being conducted by the specialist team who arrived in the island. Fishing activities in areas affected by the fire of the Express Pearl vessel will be suspended for 4 days. State Minister Kanchana Wijayasekara says that the fishing activities will be suspended until the investigation conducted on Marine Environmental Network is completed. Fishing activities in Negombo Lagoon has been suspended. He also emphasized that permits will not be issued for fishing activities near the Colombo port. According to the Epidemiology Unit of the Ministry of Health, 2,377 new COVID-19 cases were reported so far yesterday. Among the positive cases identified Wednesday are 2,325 persons from the New Year COVID-19 cluster and 52 foreign arrivals currently in quarantine. According to the Epidemiology Unit report, a total of 172,277 COVID-19 cases have been reported and 28,601 infected patients are being treated at hospitals, while 142,378 patients have fully recovered and been discharged from hospitals. Sri Lanka confirmed 29 deaths yesterday due to the COVID-19 infection, raising the total to 1,298. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Moving on with the local stories. Army Commander General Shavendra Silva says that the COVID vaccination program will be launched today in the Galle, Mathura and Kurunegala districts. The vaccination program will be conducted in selected areas of these districts. Sri Lanka yesterday received 500,000 doses of Sinopharm COVID vaccine, a gift from the Chinese government at the special request of the President. Accordingly, the vaccine will be given to the public as soon as possible, General Shavendra Silva said. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed to expedite the vaccination program in the relevant districts. The vaccination program was commenced in the Kurunegala district yesterday. Meanwhile, more than 1.4 million people have received the first dose of the vaccines. The second dose of the vaccine has been given to 343,000 people. The vaccination program will also be continued further. The government's objective is to provide vaccines to 60% of the total population in the country. To end the local news, the headlines again. Investigations are being conducted into the damage done to oceanic life by the fire of Express Pearl vessel. There is a risk of experiencing acid rain. Fishing activities in the areas affected by the fire have been suspended. Health Ministry says 2,377 new COVID-19 cases were reported so far yesterday. The President advises the relevant authorities to provide organic fertilizer needed for the Maha season. That ends the local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
On the main news story, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has advised the relevant authorities to provide organic fertilizer needed for the Maha season without any shortage. He also pointed out that the process should be carried out in a systematic way. The President held discussions with the officials of the Ministry of Agriculture and the producers of organic fertilizer at the Presidential Secretariat. Meanwhile, Minister Mahindananda Alutgamge said that all arrangements have been made to produce organic fertilizer needed for the farmers. Moving on to Watchlight.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And on Watchlight, the residents in Alpitia complain that the town goes underwater during rainy days owing to the improper building construction in Alpitia town. They requested the relevant authorities of the Land Reclamation Corporation and the Urban Development Authority to provide speedy solutions to their problems. Headlines of the world news. Australia's Victoria state enters fourth lockdown to curb outbreak. US President Biden orders intelligence report on virus origin. US moves to rebuild relations with Palestinians. Australia's second most populous state, Victoria, will enter a 7-day lockdown to counter a fast-spreading outbreak in its capital, Melbourne. Authorities have so far found 26 cases and identified 150 sites where people may have been exposed to the virus. There is growing anxiety over the outbreak, which reminds many locals of a devastating second wave that swept the state last year. Victoria's acting premier, James Merlino, said the outbreak involved a highly contagious strain of the virus, the B1617 variant. US President Joe Biden has ordered intelligence agencies to investigate the emergence of the COVID-19 virus amid growing controversy about the virus origins. In a statement, Mr. Biden asked US intelligence groups to redouble their efforts and report to him within 90 days. COVID-19 was first detected in the Chinese city of Wuhan in late 2019. More than 168 million cases have since been confirmed worldwide and at least 3.5 million deaths reported. Authorities linked early COVID cases to a seafood market in Wuhan, and scientists believe the virus first passed to humans from animals. The U.S. will seek to rebuild its relations with the Palestinians by reopening its consulate in Jerusalem and providing aid to help rebuild Gaza, Secretary of State Antony Blinken says. After meeting President Mahmoud Abbas, Mr. Blinken stressed the need to show up the truce that ended the recent conflict between Israel and Hamas. But he vowed to ensure the militant group that rules Gaza did not benefit. He also reassured Israel of America's unclad commitment to its security. To end the world news, the headlines again. Australia's Victoria state enters fourth lockdown to curb outbreak. US President Biden orders intelligence report on virus origin. US moves to rebuild relations with Palestinians. That ends the world news. We move on to development news. Minister Ramesh Patirana says that measures will be taken to upgrade the productivity in the plantation industry while facing corona pandemic. He said necessary contribution will be given to enhance the country's economy by the plantation sector. The aim of this move is to develop the local production. That ends the development news.
Sports News is brought to you by...
When Aya bought a motorbike, he bought 2 helmets. So sweet of him. I'm sure the other one is for me.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others. When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves. Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikan neveyi.
Taking a look at sports news. The third and final ODI match played between visiting Sri Lanka team and the Bangladesh team will be played in Dhaka tomorrow. The Bangladesh team has won the championship over the victory of 2-0. This will be the first time that the Bangladesh team has won an ODI tournament being played against Sri Lanka. The SLBC has made arrangements to bring live broadcasts of the match to be held tomorrow. That ends sports news.
My wife always sets a full lunch table even if it's just the two of us. She always expects people to drop by, like maybe the army.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others. When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves. Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikan neveyi.
Contributory deposit of ₹1,000 from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
On business news, State Minister Janaka Wakkumbara says that necessary measures have been taken to recommence the Kantale sugar factory. Sugarcane cultivation will be conducted in 25,000 acres of land. He stated that several farmer families will also be benefited. That ends business news.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of ₹1,000 from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue in partnership with the Ministry of Education introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And on the weather report, the Met Department says showers will occur at times in western, Sabaragamuwa, central and northwestern provinces and in Galle and Matara districts. Fairly heavy falls, about 75 millimeters, can be expected at some places in western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in Galle, Matara, Kandy and Nuwara Eliya districts. Wind speed can increase up to 30 to 40 kilometers per hour at times over the island, and especially wind speed can increase up to 50 kilometers per hour at times in western slopes of the Central Hills, northern, north central and northwestern provinces, and in Trincomalee and Hambantota districts. That ends the weather report.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue in partnership with the Ministry of Education introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And on economic news, the Ministry of Agriculture says that measures will be taken to promote the maize cultivation as an interim crop. The Ministry of Regional Agriculture has been acknowledged in this regard. The hybrid seed produced locally will be used for the cultivation activities. That ends economic news. And to end this bulletin of news, the headlines again. Investigations are being conducted into the damage done to oceanic life by fire of Express Pearl vessel. There is a risk of experiencing acid rain. Fishing activities in the areas affected by the fire have been suspended. Health Ministry says 2,377 new COVID-19 cases were reported so far yesterday. The President advises the relevant authorities to provide organic fertilizer needed for the Maha season. And on news overseas, Australia's Victoria state enters fourth lockdown to curb outbreak. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.